So, guys, welcome back. We're officially here. It is season 5 of Sounds Like Adventure.
I'm so excited.
How have you all
Raise the
been?
roof.
Everyone answer at once.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
I've been plotting.
Great. Well, so have I. Quite a lot, in fact. But hey, for today's stream, we got a lot of fun stuff that we're going to get through. Going to be a little bit of a longer stream than usual for our first one of the new campaign. So to kick things off, we're going to dive into a little bit of world building so we can let you know what this campaign setting is going to be all about. Then we're going to talk about these guys' characters, and then we'll roll those D100s as we always do. So I want to talk a little bit about Ethel Grove. I was scrambling around looking for a few things. I came across this weird, a city guide. So this is written by a guy named Theophilus T. Thistledown III, and he is the head of the tourism department of Ethel Grove. And the government in Ethel Grove is a bit weird, basically. There's lots of strange departments. And this department is not only the Department of Tourism, but it's the Department of Tourism and other T words. So this guy's title is the Terminal Taskmaster of Tourism and Tangential T words, and his name is Theophilus T. Thistledown III. But the strange thing is nobody has ever actually seen this guy. Nobody knows where this department is. And these guides, they pop up periodically throughout the city. But nobody sees them arrive. And when people try and ask about this person, it's kind of hard to put your mind to it. People kind of just can't help but forget and kind of just oh, yeah, that's the department. It's over there. So, Arlo, can you just read this little letter here for me from Theophilus T. Thistledown?
Greetings, adventurers. Welcome to Ethel Grove. From the mist-shrouded depths of the murk to the soaring platforms of the arboreal district, Ethel Grove beckons to those who dare to dream big. Here, among towering enchanted trees and ancient mysteries, every day brings a new opportunity for discovery. Our legendary marshmen brave monster-filled swamps, ambitious artificers transform mysterious relics into wondrous innovations. In every district, on every level, adventure awaits. Whether you're hunting rare artifacts in the leaning markets, exploring the dangers of the forest of Maya, I'm assuming Maya, or chasing secrets in our luminous caves, Ethel Grove promises one truth. The next great adventure begins right here.
The only thing anyone has been able to figure out about this Theophilus T. Thistledown is from his writing, basically. There's this group in the Ethel Grove called the Runai, and they sort of catalog magical artifacts and all kinds of different items and stuff like that. And Theophilus himself is quite a point of interest for them. And the only information that people have been able to figure out has been actually deemed by this Runai report that has come out, and it's sort of analyzed his writing, essentially. So we'll take a look at some more of his writing as we go through this piece today. So let's talk a little bit about the history of Ethel Grove very quickly. I'll take the lead here, basically. So this is a city that's been around for not too long. A little over 200 years, really, is when the city actually formed. But it started in a forest, essentially, and a group of loggers, they went into the marshes, they went into the forest, they're hunting trees down, and around 200 years ago, some crazy event happens where there's this massive flood that hits the city, not the city, just the forest at this point, and all of the settlers, all of these loggers are washed away, essentially, and it looks like this big point where basically everyone who was on the ground was going to be killed. But then the natives of the forest, the people who live up in the trees, Aarakocra in this case, they flew down from the trees and they saved these people when they were at risk of dying by this flood. So that's where the city formed, essentially. And then from that point, the city has gone on to grow in various different ways. So the settle was named Ethel Grove. It's named after a person specifically from the city whose name is actually Featherless Gale. So it's just a nickname that she had because she hated to be called Featherless. So she would call herself Ethel. And then as the city grows, more and more people come. strange artifacts start to appear. Things keep progressing from there. Things keep growing. The city gets bigger and bigger. And then 2 months ago, the events of the first 2 seasons of the Sounds Like Adventure podcast happen. So, there's like the main characters, they go to this museum, a dinosaur comes to life, they destroy part of the museum, they run away, and then this group from the upper city, who's calling themselves the Arboreals, they start to take credit for what happened at the museum, the destruction of the museum. And they're like this fringe element that wants to return the city to its previous standing, essentially. So it all this unrest starts to happen within the city, where there's like all these different groups coming against each other. And then the second season, these guys go off and they have this event that happens at a music festival. And in the end of that event, another group emerges, counteracting the first group, the Arboreals. A group called the Ground Dwellers emerge. So at the point where we pick up this story, there's just these crazy boiling pot of different ideas and all of this unrest in the city. And you guys are going to be planted firmly in the middle of that in an area that is known as the Merc. So, Jacob, why don't you read our message here from Theophilus T. Thistledown III?
So you found yourself in the Merc. Look, it's not an ideal situation for anyone, but it's a perfect place for you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, if they haven't been stolen already.
So, this is where you guys are from. This is the lowest and most dangerous part of the entire city. Most of you are either born in this area or you've come to this area and you've been here for a little while. So a big part of what is in this place is these guys, the Marshmen. So Jazzy, your character is a Marshman. Why don't you read this opening piece for us here?
The Marshmen, part monster hunters, part bounty hunters, all terrifying. Is there a group that better encapsulates the attitude that carved our incredible city out of the wilds? I think not.
So yes, these guys are crosses between witches and cowboys, basically. So they're equally feared and revered by the people in the community. So they're like workmanlike and utilitarian in nature. And one great thing about these guys is they use weapons called hooks. So they're short, like machetes, and it has like a slight hook forward to it. That's why they're called hooks. It has a serrated edge, and it's basically designed to like grab at vines and like pull down and rip through things at the same time. So every Marshman has their own slightly unique hook, and getting a hook is a very important part of becoming a Marshman. Arlo, your character is like he wants to become a Marshman, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But I think your character would absolutely know about Seren Blackwater there. So why don't you read that part out for us?
Happily. Few among the Marshmen inspire as much reverence and quiet terror as Seren Blackwater, the informal leader, the Council of Rangers. Her obsidian scales and magical prosthetic eye embody the raw essence of survival. As a tactician, she is unparalleled, reading the swamp's hidden currents and magical anomalies with a predatory precision that makes her more landscape than leader, a living weapon of the marshlands who doesn't simply navigate her territory, but becomes it.
It's a pretty cool cat right there,
Yeah,
is
very
what
cool.
we've got.
Very
So that is kind of the vibe of the Marshmen, and there are many figures amongst them who are impressive like this, one of whom is known as the Dreadnought. And we'll talk more about them in a little bit. So let's go to the next part here. So this is the planks, basically. So this is the Dockside Entertainment District. So Derek, read us what Theophilus T. Thistledown says here.
Many an hour is wasted and many a coin is spent at this majestic monument to excess. In a city where wonders never cease, why stop at the water?
That's it. And the people of Ethel Grove haven't. There's docks, there's boardwalks, there's all kinds of fun happening here. But there's lots of cool secrets happening here as well. So, there's lots of people trying to just carve out an ordinary life in this place. But there's also like ambitious economic social climbers here trying to make their place. And of course, there is this strange movement that's been forming, all these strange performances that have been happening by a group that is just calling themselves Resonance. And last, Kess, I want to come to you for this one. So this is the Thorn.
I'm going to give him a bit of flounce because I feel like that's fun. The Thorn. Oh, they're not merely a criminal organization. Every pickpocketed coin, every back alley deal, every whispered transaction that slips between the cracks of polite society. They're the architects of it all. The Thorn doesn't just exist along the city's legitimate structures. They are the unseen framework that manipulates everything from street-level thuggery to the most sophisticated criminal enterprises.
Wow. Got more passionate as it went along. Wow, incredible.
Damn, now I feel bad about mine, all right?
You want to go do them again, guys? No. This is one of the main this is the main criminal faction of the city, basically. And these guys are primarily based out of another district called Viridian, where they operate out of this massive multi-story dystopian commerce world called Bark Market. So that's where they usually hang out. But recently, an offshoot group calling themselves the Thorn Cutters has been appearing in the Merc. They're calling themselves a security business, and they've been setting up protection rackets and causing chaos everywhere they go. And one last thing I'm going to mention, which Theophilus must have forgot to make the slide for this one. That's weird.
Put flounce onto it. Put flounce onto it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a group called the Canopy Wardens, basically, and these guys are the city guards. So they are employed by the forces of the upper city, and they try to provide some law and order for the lower city, but they are primarily a group that is used by the upper city to oppress the lower city, basically. So as I mentioned, unrest in the city, big event at the museum happened. And for some reason, when stuff like this happens, despite people taking credit in the upper city, it's always the Merc that tends to get the bad side of things. So the city tends to crack down on the lowest folks, and that has meant that these wardens have been a more active presence in the Merc than they used to be, so much so that there is a gate that actually closes entrance and exit from the Merc that is currently being operated by the Canopy Wardens. So that's all you need to know, really. It's a rough place.
Cool, we're done. Just,
yeah,
that's all we
let's
need to
go.
know. Yeah, okay.
We don't need to play the game. I was just going to talk this whole time. So yeah, that's all you need to know. It's a rough place. There's a lot of bad stuff happening, and you guys are pretty small little folks in this world here trying to make your way. So with that in mind, I think we should talk about those small little folks here. Who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about who they're playing first?
We're all a bit nervous.
Oh, okay. I'll pick someone. Jacob, let's go. Give me gimbals.
I in school.
I knew it. All right. So this season I'm playing Gimbals Merriweather. He is a gnome wizard. He has never been to Ethel Grove. This is his first adventure there. He went to school elsewhere. He was a bit of a prodigy growing up, and I think he feels very much like the school has given him all it can give. And with the technological discoveries that Ethel Grove has been coming out with, he sees that as quite an exciting prospect in some way to expand his knowledge and expand his repertoire.
Awesome. So Gimbals, the gnome wizard, he has left the School of Magical Wizards, the Citadel of Enchantra. He's received a letter, and he's taken a job to come to Ethel Grove from the Citadel. And he hasn't really read that letter, has he?
No, not at all. He saw an opportunity. Well, he got given an opportunity to make his way to Ethel Grove, and knowing what he does know of Ethel Grove, he jumped at that bit. He's going in blind, very blind.
Well, hey, that may come up. Derek, tell us about Torrin.
Cool. I'm going to be playing as Torrin Ratkus, a dragonborn artificer. He grew up in an orphanage, didn't know his parents at all, didn't know where he's from or anything like that. One day, the orphanage got attacked by bandits. He and a handful of other of the orphans got kidnapped and then tortured.
Oh.
But
well, that
then
took a turn.
Yeah, it takes a turn, doesn't it? Then one day when they were having a bit of a celebration or feast, Torrin managed to escape. And then on his way into the woods at nighttime, didn't know where he was going, fell down into a gully. And then he got found by his soon-to-be master at the time, which was Onnet Ratkus. So Torrin's obviously taken his last name. He was a master artificer. So sensing Torrin had a little bit of magic to him, took him under his wing, showed him everything he needed to know about his particular form of artificery. Guess you want to call it that. It's kind of artificery.
Artificial. Yeah.
Artificery.
Lock it in. Like artery.
So, as the years went by, he just kept on doing his thing, and so it came the day where Torrin has to go out and keep going on his journey by himself, and so he can find his own apprentice to master, and then it keeps building on.
So that's where we're going to start things for you as well with this story. Torrin's on the quest to become a proper. By the way, we're going to say artificer. We're going to use these.
There's going to be a lot of
interchangeably.
arguments.
Artificer.
Artificer. We'll say that. If that's going to
Artificer.
cause you psychic damage, I apologize.
And for
but
those,
there's nothing.
artificer is like a engineer, sort of, right?
Yeah.
So to make sure that's right, I don't know
Magical
enough about
engineer,
it.
I guess.
A magical
It's not
Watchmaking
about the
wizard.
pronunciation. It's just you're just asking what an artificer is.
Yes, just
Okay.
generally. Because if you tell me what a rogue is, I'm like, yeah, that's a rogue. But an artificer, it's a fancy word that means many things.
He's
that
an
maybe I
artifactor.
don't know.
So yes, Derek, you'll start on this quest, and then you're in the city of Ethel Grove. You're trying to become a real deal, proper artificer. Essentially, is the big goal for you at the moment.
Yep.
Wonderful. And Jazzy, we've heard about your character already, so I want to save you for last. So Kess and Arlo,
Oh my
siblings.
Hi.
You go
Kes-
first.
Yeah, let's go to the older sibling first.
Okay. Hi. All right. So I play Clio Ashenflow. Who is Clio? She's independent, but also fiercely protective of her younger brother. Yeah, she and her younger brother, they're kind of out on their own. She acts as, I guess, she's trying to be a parent, not really succeeding, I can't imagine. But she's certainly going out on her own missions. And yeah, she's got one agenda, and that is to protect herself and to protect her baby brother. And that protecting is very up to her opinion. So
Baby brother is Eustace Ashenflow, who is a kind of early teenage water genasi, who physically, in their appearance, definitely aspires to be a marshman, but as Big Sister Clio always says, that's far too dangerous, and that's just a distant dream they will never pursue. But I think the bulk of everything that Eustace believes is whatever his sister says. They do a bunch of things that he morally questions, but Clio says it's okay, so we'll keep on doing it. And yeah, that's all he's got. All he's got is his
Yeah.
big sister, so big sister knows best.
I should clarify as well. She is a fire genasi, and Eustace is a water genasi.
And I am a ranger.
Yes, and I am a rogue.
We'll circle back around at the end, guys, to get all the
Yes.
details.
Too excited. I'm too excited. My brain's like,
So yes, we got these two little siblings, fiercely protective of one another, and off on their own little adventure to find their way. And what's Eustace's dream? Can you tell us that, Arlo?
I think his dream is absolutely to be a marshman, despite all of the protesting that probably comes from his
it's
older
just not
sister.
viable. Well, the
Yeah.
income's not good. Like, be a dentist.
Need a full dentist, is what I'm trying to say.
I think with a lot of what's happened throughout their life and all of the awful things that they've been through, it looks at the marshmen as big, brave figures that can protect themselves and other people, and that's all he wants to be able to do is protect people.
Oh, he's a
So-
sweetheart.
Oh, cutie pie.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, enter a marshman, a water genasi one, no less.
Whoa.
Jazzy.
Oh my god. What? That is true. I am another water genasi. Oh my God. I am playing Andrea Asanuma. She is a water genasi fighter who is obviously a marshman. That's the whole thing we're talking about right now. And yeah, she is grumpy. She has been doing this for 40 years and she's tired, but she's not gonna quit because it's all she knows. So yeah, she's got a lot of baggage. She's an older lady and she's trying to work through that, but she doesn't know how to. So I think that's gonna be fun. And I think in the 40 years since she started being a marshman, she's earned the title the Dreadnought. So
Love it.
that's her. That's
a lot of
Drea.
baggage. A lot of baggage with
A lot of
Drea. That might
baggage.
be an
Like,
understatement, even.
yeah, like 70 years worth. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can you give us a quick rundown of Drea's hook as well?
Oh my God, I would love to. I should pull up the photo. I forgot it now. So Drea dual wields two hooks, one that hooks outward and one that hooks inwards. And the handle is made out of the bone of a basilisk. So it's a bit old and weathered, but it's quite sturdy. And I completely forgot what it looks like. Give me a second. And yeah, it's nice shiny steel, runes carved into it with the special meaning to her. And the notable part is that she has dried basilisk skin as like a wrap around the handle of the hook. And she uses that to wrap around her wrists so she can swing the hooks outward and just hooks people inward.
Oh,
it's dried basilisk skin that she's turned into leather, and she has little dangles of like basilisk fangs hanging off of it. Can you tell what monster was made? what was made out of? Yeah. Anyways.
Well, yeah, that's one thing.
Important.
Two things to mention there as well. So it's the hooks are shorter weapons than your standard short sword, long sword type of vibe. So for marshmen to be able to counteract that limited reach, they sort of swing out with it like Kratos with his chain blade
Chains.
things.
Oh, so cool.
But it's with vines from the marshes is what it often is. But the cool thing about Ethel Grove in general is everyone's pretty creative in this place. There's a lot of focus on culture over religion in Ethel Grove. So all the marshmen express a bit of creativity through their hooks. And the other key thing to mention is the people make their hooks, the bottoms of their hooks at least, from their first monster kill. And for Jazzy, your first monster kill was?
Not a basilisk. It was a basilisk. Yeah, she's got its skin, its scales, its fangs. Yeah.
And so, within the marshmen, there's a bit of like determinism and like schools kind of like witches, but it's based around the weapon that you first get your kill from. So Drea has some basilisk tendencies. Something up there, Arlo? Or are you going to chime in?
So if Eustace's first kill was a human.
Oh, what?
From a monster.
Why did we go there?
If I get
Look,
to,
it took Flint episodes, and
Can you see the spirit of Flint Bancroft
It's
taking
like
over
taunting
him?
him. Devil on his shoulder.
we haven't even started yet.
We might need to redact this episode, gang. It's going to be a loud sound that plays in the podcast version. Cool. So yes, it's extremely cool. You've been working on some art for the hook as well, so I'm going to put you on blast and say that people are going to get to see that. So now, as we always do, let's roll our D100s. Who wants to say the reason that we roll D100s? Arlo, you've been smashing it lately. Does someone else want to have a turn?
All right,
Kess,
I'll do
give it some flounce, as you've said.
Well, welcome. The reason we roll the D100s is to learn a fun fact about any one of the characters that will appear or are currently appearing in this campaign. I believe there are 100 questions. And who created the questions, Jack?
Craig of Inspiration. He's a great creator, content creator. Shout out to him. He's doing great stuff.
Yes, shout out to that fine bard who created good things for us. Indeed.
Yeah, you sound like your character from the last session at points. in that. All right, let's roll some D100s. Kess, you persevered through that, so you can roll first.
It's not persevering. I'm delighted to be here. It's never persevering.
I rolled an 83, Jack.
Cool. What do you do with your gear when you're sleeping?
Ooh, she sleeps in her gear. Always got to be ready. You never know when the night might come for baby brother. Or for you. Poof, 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 poof. Yeah, she probably doesn't wash it as much as she should.
Wow. Okay, cool. Always ready.
She got some stank.
Gives that roll, Derek.
What do we got? Oh, a 94. I'm going to get that 100 one day.
What is the last present you gave somebody?
Last present Torrin gave someone. Oh,
If you think
God.
about the discussions that we've been having, Derek, I think you would probably come up with a good answer. Do you want a hint of what we've been talking about? Do you not remember what I'm trying to prompt you with here?
No.
You know how he makes
Do the
certain
thing.
things, and they have certain dubious uses.
Oh, hey.
What's happening?
I pick up what you're putting down.
Yep.
So the last gift he would have made someone was an unwanted gift. A client came in. He's like armoring somewhere, and a client came in. He's like, I just want my armor fixed. I'm like, yeah, cool. Then he's like, I reckon we should jazz this up. So he's kind of like, he's like, puts it on. He's like, this fits pretty good. And I'm like, tap the breastplate. He thought that he put on an enchantment which like engraves like a really cool like family sigil. But I just loud surf, just loud alarm. So he's put the spell alarm on someone's breastplate. That every time he touches, like,
Love it.
So yeah,
Useful.
this is a thing that Torrin quite often does, right? He thinks he's being helpful, but makes these things that are not.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
adding random things like, you don't have to do that. I'm like, yeah, they'll like it, but it's always the wrong spell.
Why don't we jazz it up? Is never a thing you want to hear from me when we can.
So jazzed up your car.
Well, Jazzy, why don't you jazz up one of these rolls for
Oh
us
my
right
God.
now?
Speaking of jazz, oh my God, you're so right.
I was like, who's getting it? Who's doing it?
You like jazz?
I got a 31.
31. How do you like to spend your free time?
I'm sorry, I just thought about the answer immediately, and she's like kind of miserable. She just like sleeps it away. Her entire life is her work, I fear. Other than that, maybe she'll go to a bar, but mostly it's just sleeping.
Very
Yeah.
high-coded.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Jacob.
All right, Gimbals. 69.
Hey,
Nice.
my brother. What's the worst food you've ever had?
Ooh, I reckon Gimbals has like a massive aversion to most vegetables. I reckon he's that sort of person. I reckon he is like a picky teenage boy eater.
So the worst food he's ever had is just vegetables?
Just anything green. Anything green. He's like, nah, he is the autistic beige diet king is what he is.
Wow, love that. Cool.
If they existed in this world, chicken nuggets and mac and cheese.
Trash
Awesome.
nuggies.
Arlo gives the last one.
Lucky last. That's a 80.
An 80. All right. What is your favorite art form?
Ooh,
What are my options?
here's the wrong answer.
Pottery.
Pottery? Yeah, maybe.
Painting.
Probably music. I think Eustace, although he doesn't get to hear it very often, there's not a lot around them. We don't. I think with some of the things him and Clive have got up to around the entertainment district in pulling jobs, as Clio calls them. The odd amount of music coming out of some of the establishments brings Eustace a fleeting moment of joy and excitement when he gets to hear it.
That's a
very
real
sweet.
Footloose situation. Like,
Exactly
no,
right. Yeah.
If I see you tap your feet, you're out the street.
All right, and I will roll now. And obviously, I haven't done any NPCs yet, but we do know one. We know Theophilus T. Thistledown, of course. So I'll roll for Theophilus. So I've gotten a 79, one less than Arlo. What annoys you the most?
Ooh.
What annoys Theophilus? Probably just like people who don't appreciate how amazing Ethel Grove is in terms of like just a place for adventure, and people who don't appreciate like overly flowery writing. Anyone who tells him to like trim down his writing at all and like cut out his 3 or 4 metaphors in a row, is like, that's really uncool of you right there to do that to me.
Do you think he gets upset about people who don't like alliteration?
Yeah, he's real mad about that. That's for sure.
That's
Hates
really inside
words that
poetry.
don't start with T. All right, cool. Well, that is the stuff. That's everything we need to know. And from here, there's only D&D left to play, guys.
Whoa.